So CM Punk is your brand new World Heavyweight Champion, and he came out to kickstart Raw, and I don't really see how anybody can argue this decision given what did happen to Seth Rollins. He is the most over babyface on Monday nights, and everyone was going crazy. But the crowd were like, oh my gosh, CM Punk, I love you, why don't you have my babies? Nobody definitely said that. But I just watched this and the fallout from Saturday Night's main event, and I thought to myself, yep, the right thing to do. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need. And yes, we're going to go through Monday Night Raw, and do not forget to check out nordvpn.com/WhatCulture. You can get yourself a VPN from Nord, who are the best in the business. There's a link down there. It works out around about just less than $3. You can get 4 months free, and there's a money back guarantee, and that rhymes, so it must be true. And it also means you can watch wrestling your way. Right, now, let's all sit down. Triple H told us this was going to be like a resetting of the pieces or something when it came to Raw, so let's find out if it gets an up or if we're giving it a flipping down. CM Punk did go full babyface during his promo as well, because he thanked his wife AJ Lee, who has kind of vanished into the dust when it comes to storylines, but she's allowed to do whatever the flub she wants. He thanked the fans, and he even thanked main event Jey Uso for giving him a good old fight. And listen, maybe they're not buddies, maybe they're not friends anymore, but as Punk said when he first came back to WWE, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. So I presume now he's a multi-millionaire. Good for him. Punk knows he has to enjoy all of this though, because of course Seth Rollins murked him at SummerSlam, so these moments can be fleeting. When he mocked Seth's wiggle the title around your head celebration, and even said to Rollins, dude, if you come back and try and do anything right now, I will knock you on your ass and send you back to your couch. So that means, I guess when Seth is good to go, they're going to return to this feud, but ain't no way Seth Rollins can be a bad guy then. So this could be interesting. Maybe CM Punk goes heel. I mean, I doubt it. I think he's hit that level where nobody would boo him, but you never know. Punk also made sure to put over basically everybody in the locker room as well, because he was like, I want to be a fighting champion. When he mentioned Finn Bálor, he mentioned JD McDonagh, he mentioned Dominik Mysterio, he mentioned Sheamus, and he even mentioned flipping John Cena. Now, once again, I can't see how WWE would double back round to that, given that Cena, I think, has 3 dates left. But in hindsight, that's probably exactly what we should have done. Of course, Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker also got talked about here as well. Punk was like, man, I hate you guys. When all the people to interrupt him, it was Logan Paul. And CM Punk basically had the same reaction as me. He was like, oh man, not you. Why don't you go to Fridays and challenge for the US Open title instead? You can take on Ilya Dragunov. I personally would love to see that match. Can you imagine? Of course, Logan Paul had one of these stupid lines that he always had. He's like, oh man, I'm a brand new Ferrari, and you're like a Honda Civic with 250,000 miles on the clock. It always sounds like he just went on AI and went, give me an insult. Just call him old. Sometimes going direct for the heart is way better. Go, you're an old man, Punk, with your stupid grey hair. It's just going to hit harder as opposed to coming up with these ridiculous sentences. Punk had also mentioned AJ Styles during potential opponents, and we should do that match too. So Logan was like, excuse me, I beat AJ Styles at WrestleMania, so maybe it should me be going after you. When, yep, out came the Vision. Because my gosh, do they love interrupting the opening promo of Raw. He called Logan Paul a bitch who has to go to the back of the line, because the front of the line is now Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. And you won't believe me, and nor should you, but as soon as this happened, I was like, Logan Paul is going to screw over CM Punk at the end of this show and kind of join up with Paul Heyman and his goons. And listen, you should go in the comments, go, Simon, don't be a liar. You're just trying to be a cool dude from, I don't know, Gibraltar or something. I agree with you. But given that I get so much wrong, I just wanted to enjoy the moment when I actually got something right. Bron Breakker then started to talk as well, and he definitely put to one of the crime counter, because he was like, listen, Paul Heyman bought you a couple of weeks to live. That's what he said. So if Paul hadn't have told them to calm down for a fortnight, Bron Breakker's big plan was just go and murder the entire roster. One, the crime counter, you can't say that. Bron and Bronson then felt like they'd waited long enough, given they murked Seth Rollins a few weeks ago, as they started to make their way to the ring. CM Punk was like, Logan Paul, you may not understand this, but we're about to have a fight, so you better make some decisions. And Logan then left the ring, so Bron Breakker knocked him on his ass, which I found quite funny, because I didn't see it coming. And yes, all of a sudden the bad guys started to beat up CM Punk, when Logan Paul actually went after the Vision, and he ended up getting tsunami'd by Bronson Reed when CM Punk chased him away with a chair. Now, my only small issue with this, because I am a nerd, is we have sold this tsunami as, oh my gosh, we're dead move, and you're not going to be seen for ages, whereas Logan Paul came back at the end of the show. I'm not going to up or down that, I'm just going to say it was a bit of a pet peeve. But it does all just work though, CM Punk being the champion, because it does kind of feel fresh, and everybody knew this was the destination anyway. And listen, the Logan Paul thing at the end was a nice little tease, especially because this entire Raw was looking at War Games. I am going to give it an up. and I would presume sooner rather than later, we're getting CM Punk versus a Bron breaker. But it was Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer taking on Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, which of course ties into the last couple of weeks. And essentially, Nikki Bella got her ass whipped here until she hit a tornado DDT. I swear that is the most popular move of Q3 and Q4 in 2025. Everybody is doing it. She got the hot tag to Stephanie Vaquer and this place went crazy. Sadly though, she did run into no mercy issues straight away because she tried to lift Raquel Rodriguez up, but she wasn't able to because Raquel is too jacked. So she thought about this, and because she is a smart, good guy, she climbed to the top rope and she took her off her feet with a crossbody. She then kept going for the devil's kiss, but Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez stopped her. Everybody was so upset. Don't know why it makes me laugh, it just does. Nikki Bella then had taken her med pack, so she got tagged back in, and she did hit the Rack Attack 2.0, but that was broken up at the 1-2-0. When we did get kind of shenanigans, but I never mind it in a tag team match, because you should be working together. So essentially, Nikki got too close to the ropes, Raquel punched her right in the head, and Roxy was like, where? She hit the pop rocks, and she got the 1-2-3. Now, in a normal world, this probably would have ended in Stephanie Vaquer versus Roxanne Perez next week. But for some reason, it's going to be Raquel Rodriguez instead. I mean, I definitely thought that because I'm pretty sure that Roxanne got the pin last week as well. And we are doing some, I mean, I could be totally wrong here, wink, wink, nudge, nudging when it comes to Nikki Bella, because she was so damn sad that she had lost. If she doesn't turn on Stephanie soon, well, you can come and call me Bob, because I will be surprised. The only real issue with this is that Vaquer doesn't really have a proper, sort of big, specific feud at the moment. And if she is going to be the WWE Women's Champion, I think you should basically treat it the same way as the Men's Championship and give her some more promo time and give her big programs that make you go, oh my gosh, what is going to happen here? And you could do that with Raquel, but all of it kind of feels like it's in fast motion, but we can wait and see. Still going to give it an up. Thought it was a decent tag team match. And actually, I really like Roxanne and Raquel together. Don't forget, that was also sped up, given everything with Liv Morgan, and I think they've done a pretty good damn job. However, I'm going to give it down for the directionlessness of that Women's Championship. It just feels too similar to me, what we did with Tiffany Stratton over on SmackDown. Like, you're there, and you know this makes sense, and we're trying to push them, but instead we kind of get stuck in the middle, which is a really silly idea with Stephanie Vaquer, because again, go and listen to her reactions on this night, people flipping love her. Hilariously, Anna Pierce was then backstage with a flipping tumbler, because as we learned, that is how we are going to pick the opponents and the matches for the John Cena The Last Time Is Now tournament. It's like 2025, you couldn't use a computer? No, we must use the old school fashioned tumbler. Not gonna lie, this was the right decision, it's brilliant. CM Punk and Jey Uso then found each other and Punk mugged him off instantly. Because he was like, who am I talking to here? Is it Jey Uso or Little Roman? Jey was like, shut up, man. It is me main event Jey Uso. And look, I'm gonna talk to you straight. You did beat me fair and square, and thank you for no shenanigans. I was like, man, you and me, Jey, we're on the same page. That's exactly how I felt about it. And no, there were no boos for Jey Uso as well. I have no idea what's happened the last 2 days. You are allowed to just not like a wrestler without being the meanest people on the planet. It's totally wild. But because Jey Uso, for now, is still a good guy, he was like, listen, CM Punk, there is a target on your back by division, so if you need me to back you up later, I've got your back. He didn't say it like that. That would be the worst sentence ever. Which meant, yes, our main event was going to be the Vision versus CM Punk and Jey Uso. And I'll talk about that in around about 10 minutes. Because before then it was Penta versus Grande Americano, which also made sense, because poor Penta has been totally ruined by Grande the last few weeks. But Penta is another guy. I think CM Punk should have mentioned him in his opening promo too. I mean, maybe WWE just has no plans. You don't want to tease something that you're not going to pull the trigger on. But he has so much momentum. His entrance is now crazier than ever. I'm not saying it has to be at WrestleMania, but even if it was a TV match, I would try moving Penta up a few rungs and see what happens. Americano proved as well he doesn't respect the culture at all because he tied Penta's mask when he was mucking around with Penta's mask. And this happens every single week. Can we please leave Penta alone? He is just trying to be a flippy-dippy doo-dog guy and nobody's allowing him to. Penta eventually got that awesome dive as well as a put one on the counter when, of course, El Grande 02 and El Grande 03 was here. And at first, El Grande 02 was being an idiot, so the referee said, you gotta go away. But when that was happening, El Grande 03 gave the metal faceplate thingamajig to El Grande 01, and he was gonna stick that in his head. But when he was doing that, the referee turned around and saw what El Grande 03 had done and said, you gotta go as well. Is that right? I don't know. By then, though, the OG Americano had loaded his face, which is a terrible sentence to say, and now I'm not talking about those kind of movies, and this cracked me up. Because essentially, Penta kept getting out the way, which was a good thing to do. But when El Grande Americano went for the flying headbutt, he may as well have been 47 miles away. So Penta was like, you're an idiot. He hit with a super kick, he got the Canadian Destroyer, and he got the 1-2-3. I thought this was super duper fun. I mean, put a one on the dick board, but I guess execution is everything. Given that El Grande just keeps multiplying, and they did keep running to the ring, but the good guys still got the victory. I don't know. I had fun. That's the name of the game. Once again, I've no idea what's next for any of these guys. It is so strange, but I am going to give it an up. Sometimes I think it's perfectly fair to sit there in a chair and just enjoy whatever comes at your television screen and hits you right in the face. At the same time, push Penta, he rules. Asuka and Kairi Sane then had this absolutely awesome video. My gosh, I loved it. Essentially, poor Kairi Sane still has no idea if she should be a good guy or a bad guy, but she loves Asuka. When Asuka was like, well, maybe I'll stop being so nice. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You think you're being nice? So actually now, we all do have to be more nice to Asuka, because if she does go even more crazy than she already is, well, lock your door because she'll absolutely come after you. And genuinely, as we are getting towards the end of the year, if you want to talk about people who have totally shined, she only came back a few months ago, but I would say Asuka's in it for Wrestler of the Year. That's how good she's been. Rusev also then cut a quick promo about losing at Saturday night's main event, which makes sense. He was sad, but he did say the only way to get back on track is to go back in time so I can go future in the time, or he wants to take on John Cena in his last match. He then does that thing he always does when he goes, Raw! As if he's some kind of cartoon character. So I still feel the same way almost 10 years on as I did back in 2016. Rusev is the best. It was surprise time next as well, and we hadn't even heard a peep about this, which was absolutely excellent, because Dominik Mysterio came out, and everyone loves the condom these days, as they should, and he was all like, do you know what, I am the greatest intercontinental champion of all time, and also I'm king of the luchadors, when flippin' Rey Mysterio returned. It feels like it's been close to a year since we last saw him, and this also made me laugh out loud, because he must have been backstage when he heard his no-good son saying, I'm the best thing coming out of Mexico. He went, damn it, no you're not. I mean, Ray even dropped some names of people that would be way more deserving. He said El Santo, he said Blue Demon, and of course he said Eddie Guerrero, which got a massive cheer, and without missing a beat, Dom just went, you take my father's name out of your mouth, I'm sorry. Put him on like a 12-month plan. But this time next year, I think he should be the world champion. I don't even care. Of course, Tommy Boy kept on claiming that he is the king of the luchador. So Rey Mysterio was like, listen, let me make this very clear. You can take shots at me, that's perfectly fine. But if you actually think this, you are disrespecting our culture and you have no idea what you're talking about. Now go and clean your room. Dominik still thinks that he's eclipsed everything his dad has ever done when Mysterio laid out the 3 rules, because if you live under my house, you're going to have to abide by these. 1, you are not King Luchador. 2, as long as I'm around, you'll never be the best. And 3, at the same time, you'll never be the greatest Mysterio. I was like, I don't want to be that guy, Ray. I'm a huge fan of yours. You are all time. But 2 of those were basically the same thing. Dominik, of course, then took a swing because he is an absolute asshole, but Rey Mysterio took him out with a 619 when Dominik just legged it because he is the best. And given the Survivor Series is in San Diego, maybe we are actually going to go back to Rey Mysterio versus Dominik Mysterio, which I'll never mind because it's one of the best feuds of the modern days. But the rumor was it was going to be Dominik Mysterio versus John Cena for the IC title, which always felt a bit curious, but I actually bought into the idea because I think John Cena going into his last match with the title, where it's like what AEW did with Sting, it just makes it even more emotional. But look, John Cena can retire however the flub he wants, but I'm never going to get mad at a Ray and Dom segment, especially because I didn't see it coming, and even if we don't do it at Survivor Series, I am happy to get back into this. Giving it up. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria then had one of these backstage promos where they both totally fall out with each other. And I think people have got me wrong here. I think these are fantastic. Like, I know I take the mick out of them, but they're so over the top. And Lyra's facial reactions are so crazy. How could you not enjoy this? Anyway, here, Bayley's not really got her confidence back. So Lyra was like, look, let's do our super cool handshake and go and prove that we can get a win. Don't want to be that guy, but a little spoiler here, they lost. Before all that, though, we did have Becky Lynch going full Pokemon, because she appeared out of nowhere, and she was standing on Anna the announce table. She was like, listen, I didn't appreciate Anna Pierce telling me to go home and cool off, because everyone knows I'm super cool anyway. I was like, man, this Becky Lynch character is so good. She's such a dork. Everything has been going bad recently, though, because her hot husband is at home and the Vision screwed him over. And also, Maxine Dupree walking around like she's the woman, I suppose. Well, she's not, because I'm the man and everyone needs to shut up. She even referenced Breaking Bad because she was like, shut up, New Mexico. The only good thing to come out of this place is a show about how much meth you all do. And I was like, man, she's just the absolute best. When she went back to her line, I am the best ever, it's not just me saying it, it's Sports Illustrated saying it. Some people, which is your right by the way, don't like this Becky Lynch gimmick, character, persona, whatever. I think you're nuts. I think once again, as we are getting to the end of 2025, she'd be right up there. She also basically said that Maxine is lucky to be alive because this newfound confidence is coming from the fans. So as and when they do meet in the ring again, she's gonna snap her like a twig. It's also why, even though Dupree is out there getting as much training as possible, it is a waste of time because you can't train for Becky Lynch. She's just too good. And Maxine Dupree didn't interrupt here. I've decided my entranceway is to the right of me. So that's interesting. So I guess we're going to wait a few more weeks before we do this. I don't know. Now, actually, the highlight of this is when Becky Lynch was leaving because the Kabuki Warriors started to make their way to the ring and Becky and Asuka looked at each other and we teased getting to that feud, and we absolutely should. Wrestling has proven time and time again that if you don't strike when the iron is hot, somebody gets injured or some nonsense comes and derails things. I need to see that match because I think it would be super duper whooper good, and they can both be heels because they're so different when it comes to being bad guys. Well, I'm giving this an up. It got me excited. The Kabuki Warriors weren't coming out for fun either because it was time for this match with Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. I did actually like the way that WWE tied this in. Asuka and Kairi Sane are furious that Lyra and Bayley did try and jump the line when it comes to the tag team titles, so now they got to whoop their ass. My gosh, they really did. Bayley still fought back though with this crazy powerbomb into Tina the Turnbuckle on Kairi Sane. And honestly, I swear Kairi has spent most of this year just bumping her ass off. And eventually Valkyria and Bayley were able to get their elbow backbreaker thingamajig finishing move. I suppose that's what it is. But of course it got broken up at the 1-2. Bayley was so damn furious at this, she went with Asuka for a little bit when Lyra got in there. When it was Asuka who thought outside the box-like structure. Because she went, all right. She pushed Valkyria into Bayley. And Bayley was about to dive on Kairi. Bayley took a big tumble. I can only presume that Lyra was like, oh no, I don't know what to do. Well, that's not true, actually. She kept on fighting. Very sadly, though, she did go for a flying nothing. So Asuka was like, all right. She caught her in the Asuka lock, and Lyra had to submit. This was such a good finish. Because one, the Empress of Tomorrow comes across like an absolute psychopath, and Lyra Valkyria is just great in the ring. It was smooth like butter. Also, before this is why we need a singles feud, Asuka did this German suplex onto Lyra Valkyria on the outside. I honestly thought she was dead. Of course, the Kabuki Warriors were going to finish them off afterwards because they're like Mortal Kombat when out came Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who also must have just been hanging out backstage playing Nintendo. But we are essentially telling you that match is coming. I would do it at Survivor Series. Let's really sell these women's tag team titles. And once again, anytime WWE puts these belts on TV and just allows them to, well, not vanish into the dust, they're always so damn good, and everybody involved here is like super duper whooper skilled. I am going to give it an up, and you can play hot potato with these things. Everybody can hold them, just given their past. But I liked it a lot. This is when the Judgment Day did announce it is going to be Raquel Rodriguez getting a title. So I was like, shrug emoji. And Finn Bálor and JD McDonagh were getting ready for their tag team title match when Dom walked in like, excuse me, why did nobody come out to help me with my deadbeat dad? And Finn was like, that's on you, Dom, you idiot. You told us you wanted to celebrate by yourself. Roxanne, of course, then flew in and did her usual manipulation, and she said, oh, Dom, you should help Finn Bálor and JD McDonagh when they do defend the tag team titles. And of course, he was going to do that and screw it up. I like everybody in the Judgment Day. I think they're great. But whatever we're going to do, I think we need to do relatively soon, because this story and this teasing has been going on for about 10 months. We went right into AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, or AJ Lee, taking on the Judgment Day as well. Once again, this tag team division just needs more depth, because I realize no matter who wins here, what the flub do we do next? But of course, it was so damn good. Although we also had to put one on the dick board, because as soon as everybody had taken everybody else out, not for dinner, Dominik walked out, and he gave away the finish. He had a shillelagh, so I was like, I think that Sheamus is going to show up. He jumped on the apron as well, so yes, did I just put a one on the dick board? But of course the one goes on the dick board. And this is when Finn Bálor accidentally took out JD McDonagh, when it was just shenanigans, distractions, confused interference. I mean, these guys totally went off the rails. Eventually Finn was able to get to Dominik though and said, damn it, would you use that shillelagh? Because I don't care how we win, we just have to win. When, of course, Sheamus just zoomed out of nowhere and he railroaded Dominik Mysterio, who went flying. But this does make sense, because Finn and JD had screwed him over last week, so he then got on the apron, he was pointing at them like, oh, fella, I'm going to get you. It then led to a really good 1-2, because Bálor did use the shillelagh, and Dragon Lee broke this up at the last second. So that was super duper wooka good. And Dragon Lee was like, you know what, I'm going to sail outside the ring with a dive. One on the dive counter. It left poor JD McDonagh all alone though, so he did get hit with the Stars Clash as we got the 1-2-3. So yeah, this was just an excellent match, although AJ Styles and Dragon Lee as tag team champions is so damn strange because I'm all for it, especially if AJ Styles is retiring in 2026 and Dragon Lee is always deserving of a push. But what do we do now? I'm just going to say this every week and try and manifest it into existence. Let's take the SmackDown and Raw tag team titles and smash them together. I mean, it's working for the women's ones, so why can't it work for the men's ones? But I am going to give this an up. Sometimes you can do nonsense, and again, it's like we said earlier, it's just so damn entertaining. That's what this was. Nikki Bella then continued to be completely oblivious or tease a massive heel turn because she found Stephanie Vaquer who was leaving, and my gosh, she got changed quickly. She was like, why? Why am I so bad? Why can't I keep up with you young cats? Oh man, I'm so devastated. Maybe you'd like to pay me a compliment, Stephanie. And of course Steph did because she's a babyface. She's like, Nikki Bella, you're one of the greatest of all time, and I'm so happy that we're friends. Now, to be fair, if I am right and we are headed in this direction, when Nikki Bella does smack her in the face, I actually think it would be quite a decent turn. But this was just so on the nose. But you know what? I was totally good with it. Sometimes you should do things like this, and I could be wrong. I so often am. Jey Uso and Paul Heyman then had a little bit of a chat as well, and Heyman was like, listen to me, Jey Uso. Given that I have just held off Bronson and Bron Breakker, well, now the gloves have come off, and they're allowed to do whatever the flub they want, because they have a vision, when he kind of looked at Jey and said, I believe you have a vision of your own, so maybe they won't flub you up. That was kind of interesting, because they definitely flubbed him up in the main event. But also, once again, Jey told Paul here, don't you bring up Jimmy Uso, don't you bring up Roman Reigns. I'm my own man now. Yeet. Because that's what he does. Adam Priest was then back with his 1987 tumbler, and we did get the first 2 matches for the John Cena tournament that I believe are going down on Raw next week, given that we are going to be in Boston with John himself. And it is Nakamura versus Sheamus and Damian Priest versus Rusev. I was like, you know what? That's some damn good picks. Fresh blood, man. Or something that sounds less like a vampire. The main event was next, and yes, it was the Vision taking on CM Punk and Jey Uso, and I did groan just a little bit, because it did kind of feel like Groundhog Day. I mean, before this, like we talked about on social media, Triple H was like, oh my gosh, it all starts again tonight. And I was like, well, if you mean by going back to like March, well not March, probably like June, July, then I would agree with you. I mean, it was a good match, but given the finish too, it did make me feel a little bit like a sad panda. Now, fair play to Punk as well, because even though he is the brand new champion, he got his ass whipped before he got the hot tag to Jey Uso, and once again, everybody went totally crazy. But after both Jey and Punk had done some dives, put a 2 on the dive counter, the referee, as opposed to any other referee in the history of WWE, went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they both got counted out. Kind of felt like WWE, I don't want to say they're leaning into countouts too much, but from nowhere, we are getting this finish a lot. I suppose it's just non-finishers in general, and I understand why you wouldn't want to beat anybody in this bout, but maybe don't book it to begin with. Listen, it disappointed me. Doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong, doesn't mean the story isn't going to go somewhere, but I do have to give it a down. I literally went, oh man, like I was 8 years old and we were out of cookies. Now, Punk and Jey actually held their own for a little while when they were going to throw the bronze to Alan the announce table, when that totally failed. And poor Jey Uso got hit with every finisher under the sun, including the tsunami, so we keep an eye on that one. When Punk got a chair, as he had done in the opening segment, when Bronson and Bron Breakker went, well, why don't we get chairs too? When, of course, out came Logan Paul. He put on brass knucks like it was the Infinity Gauntlet, and you could just tell. Like, it was a decent angle, I liked it, but of course, he turned around, he popped Punk right in the face when he gave these brass knucks to Paul Heyman like it was some kind of a crown. Now, I doubt he's going to join the Vision, he doesn't need to, but in terms of setting up war games, well, Bronson Reed, Bron Breakker, and of course, Logan Paul. Also made me laugh because it meant this week's episode of Raw went off air with the fans chanting, flub you, Logan. And they were not saying flub you. Don't use rude words, kids. There's no idea. You can be more creative than that. And listen, I am going to give it an up. It was fine. And I appreciate the fact that we have planted some seeds, but maybe it didn't make me jump for joy as much as it would do other people. However, at the same time, still intrigued by Jey Uso, because something is most definitely happening here. I think he may be a bit pissed off about all of this. And Punk being the champion, like I say, right move to make. Don't do this with your hand up. Which brought us to the end of Raw, and it's most definitely an up show. Like, there was a lot to take away from it. But this was not the gangbuster episode I expected, given that we do have a brand new WWE champion. But really the story right now is, how do we make Bron Breakker the world title champion man? Come up with a better name than that. And I suppose we may have to wait to WrestleMania, or you could do it at like a Raw Rumble. But it probably is worth your time, or you could just watch the clips on the internet. Otherwise, my friends, thank you for joining me as always. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Ups and downs or smackdowns on the screen right now, so you can click that. I believe that's everything. Check out NordVPN, of course. Thank you to Nord. That's it. I'm done. Goodbye.